Hello, hello, welcome everyone. My name is Ruben, and welcome to your community recap. Today we're gonna be talking about all the things that we have done this past month, week 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have covered so many different things, so many different techniques, and I'm super excited to be here and also to share with you some of these techniques that we used in the past. We're gonna refresh ourselves, and we're gonna go and dive into those techniques and some of the tricks and other things that I'm gonna show you. And I just want to say thank you for being with me this whole month. I've been having so much fun. Welcome everyone on the chat. Let me know where you guys are coming from. We're gonna be here for an hour, so we're gonna be just hanging around and just like talking about design and how we're going to be like reviewing some of the submissions. Some of you guys are already done, which is pretty cool. I've seen some of those, but we're going to talk a little more about it in today's live, actually. So remember that we are live every single day on Behance and YouTube for more tutorials like this. Not only covering Photoshop, but we also cover video, we cover like illustrations, we cover so many different things. So stay tuned. All right, so who's on the chat? Let's see who's on the chat right now. Let's see, give me 1 second here, and I'm just gonna go into my desktop here. So we're gonna be recapping, and we're gonna be talking about all the things that we did during this month of January. All right. If you have any questions, just pop it into the comments, and I'm going to do my best to go back and read some of these and answer some of these questions as we go and, review all these designs, also like review and check on some of the techniques that we use for each one of those weeks. So let me know. Let me see who's on the chat. Howdy, folks. CJ, thank you so much. Prank, Krad, Petkov, Joseph. Hello, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. All right. So let's talk about what we did on week 1, for example. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can take a look at it. So week 1, we decided to create a really fun, flyer design for a party, whether it's a DJ or, a music artist or just like in the entertainment industry. So we did a blend of, different things. Like we use typography, we use different like backgrounds and textures. We use like all sorts of things, like some flashes going on. Also, we use the power of Firefly to create this disco ball, which I'm gonna show you how to do that in a second. Then let's go over to week 2, where we did something like totally the opposite of week 1. It was just a minimalistic approach, minimalist poster where we using like 2 or 3 components, and then using negative space as our ally, right? So creating a very minimalistic approach for this poster, using the power of typography, of course, but also decluttering everything. So you can see the difference between the flyer that we did on week 1 and then on week 2 is totally a different game here. All right, so week 3, we did something pretty cool, which was really like emphasis on black and white images, but also like enhancing that image with some pop color in there. We did 2 examples, and I saw some of your submissions, and they look really cool. You guys are very creative, so that's amazing. And I'm going to show you something actually that I did back in, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years ago, that I did a canvas for my family, and I used the same treatment. So I've been using this, treatment for a while. I mean, it's just something that you can definitely like, take it up a notch and just like be creative and do like so many different things. And lastly, which is this week, actually, this Wednesday, we did a comic effect. And this is actually my photo. And it's just taking a regular photo and then turning those photos into a comic. which I think it's pretty cool. Like if you want to like play around and like do one for your kids or your brother, your sister, a friend. I think it's just like a pretty cool trick to have. And also like all the techniques that we use throughout all these challenges definitely help you to develop those skills, those Photoshop skills that you need to become even better and a greater designer. So as I said, let's go and take a look at some of the submissions that you guys have done. So that way we can go ahead and just like give some feedback on that. And then we're gonna go each one of the weeks and we're gonna be just like talking about it and also recapping. And you know, I'm gonna show you different techniques to create the same type of challenge. So let's go ahead and go into Discord right now and let's see some of these submissions. All right, so let's go ahead and go all the way up and see where we can start like reviewing some of this stuff. All right, there you go. I think, okay, we can start like about here. Yeah, we can start about, there you go, about here. All right, so this was submitted by George. Let's just click on it just to see how it looks. All right, so we have pretty similar to what I have, right? Like George is using, you know, typography. He's using some textures there. He's using that mix up. Like I'm using a stroke there. He's using the same thing. DJ Liam, yeah, definitely. Great job. Like, by the way, great job on actually like the cutout, like the silhouette of this DJ. And one thing I can tell you is like, be aware of your like spacing and stuff like that, right? Like for example, like this text here are very close to this, but also very close to this. What I would suggest here that George, you would do is probably like the Flint Studio Live Present. Maybe you can play around with hierarchy, making that a little bit smaller so that way you have more space on the top, and then playing around with these font sizes too. Here you have left align, and then here you have this perfectly center. I would suggest to have either left align, both of those sections, or center, but then just make it a tiny bit smaller so that way you have more room to play with. But you did an amazing job here blending those images in the background. That is great. All right, so let's go to another one, for example. Let's check on this one. This is very interesting. I love this because, and it was submitted by Pankrat. I hope I'm saying this correct. Tatiana. Let's go with Tatiana. That's a lot better. So Tatiana did an amazing job here, where they blend like the some of the top with the actual DJ and put it on top of it. That's what design is about. It's about experimenting and doing something a little bit different. I really like what you did here on the Wednesday. It's a different treatment for that typeface. I would suggest, it all depends, of course. Just be aware of your contrast when you're creating this type of flyers, whether it's like digital, if it's digital or it's going to be printed. We have to make sure like things are visible and people are, they can actually read it. But you did an amazing job, Tatiana, here. I really love this section here. It's really like really blended. Like I really like what you did here. It's like probably like 3 images blended, 4 images probably blended in there. Really like the center here of text. It kind of like drives your eyes like in the middle, like DJ Lemon, and then go down into the nightclub, and then you see the address there. That's pretty legit. I really like that. So thank you so much for doing that. All right, so we have another one for week 1, and this was what's submitted by K-Rov. All right, K-Rov, totally different here. I really like what you did here with the disco ball. You added some blur effect, which is pretty cool. You kept the Adobe Live Present like pretty like center and a little bit smaller. I like that. And also you were not afraid to play with different colors. I love that. It's all about experimenting again. It's all about, you know, putting yourself out there and just like testing things out just to see what, you know, sticks. I really like that. Just as part of like my feedback to you, I would say just be careful in the bottom here, because you're losing some of that information with the background. So if you have something like this and you want to show, you know, the barn, you know, in the address, make sure you probably add some sort of like background, darker background, so you have enough contrast. You can use like the gradient going from, you know, black to opacity like 0, so that way you have like a transition, right? And I can show I'm gonna show you how to do that on Photoshop. It's pretty simple. It's just like creates more contrast on your design, so that way people are able to, you know, read it better. But really love that submission. Let's go ahead and take a look at other ones. This is week 2 by the same person, Kavrov. Let's just click on this. Pretty minimalistic, again, pretty simple. I love what you did here with the ninja. Is very like, you know, very creative in a way. I would pay attention to your kerning, like the space between your letters. Just make sure you have like a more condensed. Of course, it all depends on the context. But I really love what you did here, bringing some of that culture like in the background there. Really like what you did here with the perspective of the, you know, the samurai sitting there, but then it's sitting on a mat, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. And then you have some text here, which is pretty good. It's pretty decent. Yeah, a pretty good submission. So far, so good. All right. Let's take a look at this one. This one was from Tatiana. Actually, Tatiana did really cool stuff here. Like there's some blending modes. I would imagine blending modes happening within that image, which is pretty cool. But also the treatment of that typeface, that looks really cool. I really love that. One suggestion I would give you probably to Tatiana was to probably make this title a little bit more visible. I would probably use a solid color maybe to make it more impactful, like more in your face. There's not a lot of colors, of course, happening in this design, but a pretty good design. All right, so let's go down here and check other ones. Like Frank, for example, submitted this one from week 2. Look at how clean this look and how, you know, how this, and I hope this is from challenge number 2. Yes, challenge number 2. It's just a simplistic, you know, I really love what you did here with masking, like the astronaut, like holding a guitar is coming out of that circle. That's very clever. I really like that. Really love the combination of those colors. Is there life on Mars? Like I really like that. Also the background and the texture that you know Frank is using is very intriguing. I really love that. I don't know what to tell you here. Maybe just like bring some of the is there maybe that's the one that is like lost a little bit, but then on it's like more legible. But that's pretty much it. But other than that, like amazing job there. All right, so huge. Let's see. Oh, this is amazing. I really love the color here, like the combination of the colors. Really like the brush on the back, using different like tonalities of that blue. I really love that. Also, like making that turtle like coming out of that circle. That's clever. I really love that. It makes the design very intriguing. And also, I really like the texture that you're using in the background. That's really, really cool that you're doing there. Explore, that's, you know, very, very nice. I would probably suggest to make that title just a tiny bit smaller. And then just like make sure your kerning, like it's a little bit tighter. Again, it's all about exploration, but you did an amazing job here. Alrighty, and then we have other submissions for, you know, like what we did with the backlit white and bringing color, like an accent color to the photo. This is exactly what we did. And, Tatiana did an amazing job here by covering that. And then another one from week 1 from Greek Reader 1. Amazing. I love what you did here with the disco ball in the back. Also having the disco ball again here at the top. Okay, DJ Liam, it's hard to see, but you did an amazing job here at the bottom where there's enough contrast for the users or for anyone who's reading this flyer. And I would only suggest you to make DJ Liam a little bit more visible because there's not enough contrast. There's a lot of dark tones in the background. So you need to bring Liam a little, like the title DJ Liam, a little, more to the front so that you're able to see it, of course. And guys, again, if you have any questions, just pop it into the chat there, and I'm going to be able to answer those questions. All right, so we have some other ones here. This is challenge number 2. Whoa, this is amazing. This is from Satlin. Satlin submitted this amazing, minimalistic poster, Echoes of the Swords. That's really cool. I really love that. Really like the treatment of the typeface. Using a solid and then going into a stroke and then going into a solid again. That's an amazing treatment. I really love that. Really like the what you did here with a little bit of color in there somehow, somewhere. And then it's kind of like a combination of week 2 and 3 together, right? I really love that. So kudos to you. This is very Satlin again. This is very different, but it's in your face and is really cool. It's edgy and it has this cloud texture in the background, and then the DJ is all in your face because it has great contrast. And I love that you did a duotone effect here, but also you changed the color and the dynamic again of the whole thing. I really love that. So kudos to you. This is pretty similar to the one I did, and this is amazing. I mean, it's really cool. Everything is legible. Everything is in your face. I really like this a lot. And this was submitted by ITH3 Bias. I would guess that is Bias. Eat Bias. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's continue to review some of the other stuff. This is amazing. This is from week 3. This was submitted by Satlin. Again, we're using black and white, but then with a hint of color. This is amazing how this, the color pops and it creates this intriguing, kind of effect. Plus the model, of course, is very intriguing as well. The way she's looking at us right now. All right, let's see what else we have here. This is from Frank. Again, this is from week 4, which is this week, actually. Wow, kudos to you. Look at that. That's an amazing comic, but also Frank went above and beyond and created this background with textures in there and different typography, also different colors, textures, as you can see here. That's an amazing, way to apply this challenge. And kudos to you, Frank, for doing this amazing stuff. Also, Tatiana did an amazing job here too. Look at this. This is legit, perfect. I really love it. You went above and beyond and added in your own typeface and the bubble, and also you added the colors here for the hair, for the actual clothes and the skin tones and the nails. Look at how detailed this is. This is amazing. Kudos to you. We have some others from Jeffrey Ann. Jeffrey Ann did an amazing job here by capturing, I think this is week 3, where we do a black and white photo and then we bring some of that color in there. And the reason why I wanted to point this out is because I'm going to show you right now what I did a couple of years back. This is a canvas I did for my family, and I did the same thing. I've been using this type of effect with black and white and then a hint of color since God knows since when, but let me just show you and share with you like what I did. So you can probably see it right here. It's a picture of my family, and I have the pumpkins actually are the ones with the color. Check this out. All right. Hope you enjoy that. And this is why I was like, I wanted to do a challenge like this, because I know people can definitely take advantage of this. They can create images for their family, friends, or, whoever. And this type of effect is kind of cool. So you can, if you have a monochromatic, wall in your house, you can definitely decorate it with something like this. We do that. Of course, we have a couple of those throughout the house. And then we have other submissions from Cave Rov, and also Satlin again, like just doing the challenge that we did this week, which was like creating a comic, which is pretty cool. Thank you so much again for, sharing all your stuff. And if you haven't done so, go and check those recap after this and just like create something, try to hone those skills and make those skills better, and then submit your stuff in here on Discord, because we have a lot of people that definitely can help you level up your design skills. So now we're going to go back into Photoshop, and we're going to be tackling like one by one. We're going to be tackling like week one, and we're going to be just like talking about different techniques and stuff that we use here, so that way we can create something similar, but it's not going to be the complete challenge, because we have 4 different things that we have to tackle within an hour. So again, let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and I'll be here to answer. All right, so let me just like open challenge number 1. All right, so we have some cool stuff here. So I'm gonna just like drag and drop some of this into Photoshop. All right, so we have our DJ, for example, and let me just like grab a few of these things, so that way I can just like convert those into one single file. Okay, we have 2 there. Let's see what else we have here. I think we have some textures, and we have some other stuff here too. So I'm gonna just drop them all in here. Press enter, enter. All right. Then I'm going to make this file a little bit smaller. So by pressing Command Option I, or Control, Alt I on your PC. And then I'm going to make this probably 150. And then the width, probably going to go with, I don't know, maybe 2000. Press enter. And then we're going to just zoom in on this. All right, so for challenge number 1, we did a couple of things. So first thing we did was like silhouette this guy. There are many, many different ways you can do that. There's not right or wrong, way to do this. Also depends on the context of like for the design that you're using, like if you need to be super detailed, or if you can just like, it doesn't need to be perfect, but then you can, cover it up with some of the filters and stuff and effects that we can create. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to do is actually like just, do a quick silhouette of this. And one thing we can do with this one, because we have some white coming on his arm here. Also, like we have something like here on the actual DJ board. So let's see what we can do. Let's go and grab the magic one, and then just like click outside just to see like what kind of selection he does. So you see like you have a little bit of like selection here because it's blending in with the background, and you don't want that. So one quick trick you can do about this is actually go into your channels. So Command D, Control D on your PC to deselect. And what we're going to do is go into your channels. It's here in the middle. And then we're going to start clicking like, each one of them just to see which one has like the more like contrast. So we can either duplicate it and we can start. So we can see like the green one is pretty, like has more contrast. Or I think the blue has even more. So we have the blue one, right? So we're going to go ahead and drag it and duplicate this. Go down here. So you made a copy of it. And then that one selected, you're going to press Command L or Control L on your PC. We're going to bring the levels. And we're going to start playing with this levels here. So you're going to make things a little bit darker, you know, like, and then you're going to grab this and you're going to turn it like all the way to the right. So you can make things a little bit darker. And that's okay. And you're going to bring some of the white if you want to. It all depends like on the exposure on your image actually. So I kind of like that. So I'm going to click OK. And then with the magic wand selected, I'm going to try to see if it's going to make a better selection. So I click on that, click on this. I can see that it's better, way better now. So I'm going to go ahead and go in there and just like, you know, just make little tweaks here and there. We can, whoops. Command Z to go back again. But what we can do is actually go ahead and take the polygonal tool and actually we're going to press Command Shift I, and this is going to invert the selection, or Control Shift I on your PC. And then it's selecting the DJ by himself. So what we're going to do is include this part with the polygonal tool. So go ahead and hold down Shift, and then just like, you don't have to do it perfectly, but just to cover like some of this section. So that way his arm is like in the selection, within the selection. All right, so I think that's good. And then we have the other side here. So we're gonna go ahead and go into here and zoom in by pressing like Command plus or Control plus on your PC. Hold down Shift, and then just like hold on Shift for a little, and then click and just, you know, make your selection. Alrighty, I think I have it already. I think that's pretty good. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back, or, you know, to our selection, like so. Bring everything up. So click on the RGB file and then turn this one off, because that's the blue one. Go back into your layers. And then what we're going to do is actually with the marquee tool or with the polygonal tool, it needs to be a selection tool. And there, click on select and mask. And what this is going to do is going to bring us to this document where we're going to be able to edit a little more. And what we're going to do is actually go to this second one, which is the refine edge. And then we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So press on the right bracket and then just sample, you know, kind of like the color that it's here on the background. You don't have to hold down anything, just like click and drag and start painting, right? Like, whoops. Hold on one second. Let me see if I don't have, okay, there you go. So I need to be on the channels. I'm right here. And then again, select the mask. And then just make sure you are on the refine. And then click and start dragging. So that way you're sampling that, you know, color. So that way you can get rid of the background color and those, you know, those edges, those rough edges. Like for example, here, on his headphones, there's a little bit of that in there, so you can just remove that. Then hold down spacebar if you want to go down and just like see your selection, see if there's anything else that you need to fix. Sometimes what you can do is like actually like use these controllers here, like smooth, like one pixel maybe, and then feather like 0.5, contrast. You know, you can play around depending on the image. And then once you're happy with it, what I always suggest is to, in the output, go ahead and click and choose the new layers with new layer mask, because that way you can go back and refine anything that you want. So click OK, for example. And now we have our DJ already silhouetted. So we're going to create now just a simple background color. So press Command-Shift-N and then just name it BG, for example. Click OK. And then let's just, fill it up with, I don't know, with Y it's fine, like Option Delete, Alt Delete on your PC. Then double click and let's just add in a gradient. Just double click on that, click on the gradient. We have a gradient already, which is good, but let's just have something more, with more contrast. We can even create our own. Something like this, but let's make this, double click on that to make it a little bit darker. So let's do this. And also for this one, for the top one, we're going to probably do something like that. All right. It's just a background color. That's pretty cool. Now we're going to blend some of these photos that we have. So let's bring this to the back. There you go. And then what we can do is just like Control T to transform, and just like, we can do that if we want to, but we wanted to blend that in somehow. So we're going to press OK. And then let's blend that in here into your blending modes. Right now it's set to normal, but you can hover over, which is pretty awesome. And just like see which one makes sense for you. Like for example, screen is really, really cool. So I'm going to leave it as screen, but you can go ahead and like, depending on your photo, of course, you can do exclusion. Look at that. That's a really cool effect there. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it with screen for now, which is good. Then also we have a texture, which is awesome too. But what we're going to do is Control T, make it bigger, press enter, and then you can do the same thing. You can blend it in so that way you have like some sort of texture. You see how it goes through, our, kind of like go through our layers, and you can see which one makes sense for you. I really like kind of like the multiply one, but then I'm going to put it below my DJ because I want my DJ to be very clear. So go ahead, put it below your DJ, and that's, that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty cool. Another thing you can do, like, for example, if you want to play around with duotones and something like that for your subject, which in this case is the DJ, we can do something like that. So we can, what we can do is actually click on the actual mask, which has the selection. You click on it, right, like with Command click or Control click on your PC, and then you're going to go into your adjustment layers. And then what we can do is actually do a gradient map. So go ahead, click on gradient map. And it looks kind of weird right now, but you'll see what we can do with this. So go ahead and click on the gradient, and let's see, you want to do something with greens, for example. You can start testing things out. Probably this one makes sense. You can tweak your colors however you want. You can make this just a little brighter if you want, or just like more green, add more green to it, which is a duotone effect, which is cool. And then double click on this and actually make it a little bit darker. Press OK, press OK. And this is the powerful stuff about like creating adjustment layers, because you can play around with this adjustment layers and actually blend those filters within your photo. So if I click on my adjustment layer, which is the gradient map, and click on the blending modes, watch the magic. Like, you can see so many different things that you can create with your blending modes. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of cool. The hard light, you see the difference between before and after. And then you can continue playing around with this, experimenting with textures, putting things on top of each other. And that's one way to do things. All right, so let's take it up to week number 2. So we're going to be tackling minimalistic approach. So I'm going to go ahead and close this for now. I'm going to actually just leave it open for now and I'm going to just close it. And make sure you save your stuff. I'm going to save it just for the sake of saving it. And this is recap, then week 1, and just save that. All right. Go ahead, and now we're gonna go to week number 2, which is the minimalistic approach. Last time we couldn't do the soldier image, but we're gonna do it today. So we had this image also on the files, but we couldn't get to it because we did the one with the Chinese samurai in it. But we can do something like this now for the minimalistic poster. So we're going to do the same thing here. For example, we're going to go Command Option I to make this a little bit smaller, so that way our computer runs super faster. All right, not 1500. 150 is fine. And then let's do 1500 for the width. All right, so let's jump into, there you go, just zooming in a little bit. And we're gonna actually do the same thing we just learned. We're gonna just like silhouette this image, this subject. So Command J to duplicate it, Control J on your PC. And then what you're gonna do is actually click on your, before that, let's try something here. Let's add in like the soldier's feet, because we don't have that, right? So we can actually add that in before even like silhouetting that image. So let's try different things. We're going to use the power of Firefly, and we can actually click on C on your on your keyboard, which is the crop tool, and make sure here on your fill it's going to be to generative expand. So we're going to try different things until we get it right. So click on generative expand for now, and then you're going to drag this down just a tiny bit, so that way Photoshop knows that, I need to generate, this part of the photo. So click on generate, and let's just wait and see what happens. Photoshop, it's creating, the rest of the image. Sometimes it gets it like perfectly. Sometimes we have to like, there you go. Look at that. That's amazing. That is the power of Firefly. And let's just check, because we have 3 options. We have option 1, option 2, and option 3. Ooh, I really like this one. Ooh, I think I like option 3. Let's go with option 3. I really like this one a lot. So I'm going to leave it at option 3. And what I'm going to do, because I'm going to silhouette this and make a selection, I'm going to go ahead and, select my 2 files, what I generated, the feet, and also my original photo, and just Command E to merge that, or Control E on your PC. So we have that merge, and now what I want to do is silhouette this subject. So go ahead into your selection tool and click on the object selection tool. And then we're going to do a quick selection, like just, make a quick selection around the object and then let go. Photoshop is going to do its magic. It did an amazing job there. And then what we're going to do, actually, since we are like within, we have a selection tool selected, click on select and mask. And then fix anything that you can think of, like from the image that you think like, no, that's not part of it. So you can fix it. Like for example, let's just zoom in by pressing Command plus. You see, we can fix that there, but I can definitely let that go for now. I can fix this here too, but I'm gonna do it later on. So go ahead into your output and select layer with mask. Click on that. Click OK, and now you have your selection. Now let's create a background. We don't have a background here, but I'm going to bring this texture. There you go. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then last time what we did a simple, like really light version of this tutorial, this challenge. I can show you, like we did a really light version of it. Now let's do something like the opposite. Let's do something darker, right? So go ahead and hide that texture. And then let's create a background. So Command Shift N to create a new layer, call it BG, and then fill it up with whatever you want. We're gonna be adding some cool stuff. So Option Delete or Alt Delete on your PC, fill that up. Then double click on that layer. Let's just add in a background. All right, we already used purple, but I want to use something. Let's click on neutrals and just see, okay, what about dark grays? And like you can create your own as well, which is good. We can definitely like look at this one, for example, or this one. Kind of like that one. Click OK. Click OK again. Okay, we have our background. We have the subject. So let's go ahead and I want to kind of like add a little more width to this. So press C to, bring your crop tool, and then hold down Option or Alt and just like make it a little wider. Kind of like about there. Then within your, like on the top here, the fill, instead of generic expand, because you can do that if you want to, depending if you have a background image, like you have textures and stuff happening. But let's just like background default for now, because we can make our background, like we can extend that better. So once you're happy with that, then click on the move tool or press enter. And then what we're going to do is like our background, we're going to extend that the same way we did. Boom. All right. So we see that we have some sort of like border, and it's because of the mask. What we're gonna do is actually we're gonna click on it, and we're gonna remove or fill those edges with black, so that way like it, or we can just like remove it completely. However you feel like. So we can go ahead and press Command Shift I to kind of like select the Control Shift I again, sorry. And then make sure your foreground is in black. So press X, and then we're gonna fill it in. So make sure you are on the actual mask layer. So Option Delete, boom, that's wrong. Control Z, let's go back, and we're gonna invert that because the selection is actually in the middle, and we need to invert that in order to fill that up, and then it's gonna hide what's happening. So Command Shift I, and then fill that up with black. There you go. Whoops, nothing happened. Okay, let's do it the other way then. So look at that. So you're just painting over. You press the B for the brush tool, and then you just paint over. All right, there you go. We got rid of everything. You can paint over. And then you see here on your mask how it's getting like, you can invert that if you want to. Like if you click on the mask and go like Command I, you can invert that and then Command I again. Just like to see what's happening. So that's that. That's pretty cool. Then we're going to make him a little bit, I don't know, like I don't want to do anything in here. But what we can do here is just actually use some blending modes for this texture. Go ahead into your blending modes and just like start hovering over, and then like see the one that you like the most, right? Like something like that might look pretty cool. Then let's add in an adjustment layer. So go ahead into your adjustment layer on the bottom here, and you can add whatever you want, but let's see, we can do a solid color and then just blend that in. Why not? Then pick a color. Let's do green, like this type of green. Click OK, and then just blend that in as well. Oh, look at that. That's dope. There you go. I like that. So let's say you don't want that texture to be, on top of your, your subject. Just like bring that texture down. And then when you have your subject there. And then if you want to blend in some of that texture, because you don't want it, it's way too much, you can blend it in here with the opacity, just a tiny bit. And also you can create a mask. So click on the mask, then click, press B for your brush and make it bigger using your left or right bracket. And then just like start painting. And that way you kind of like remove some of that texture. And then last but not least, because we need to jump into something else, let's just create like a really cool, shadow. So click on that actual shadow, all right, on the actual selection. So I click on the actual mask, control click, and I have my selection here. But then what I'm going to do, select the marquee tool and just like hold down Option so that I remove this because I just want his shadow. And we're going to create a shadow. So on top of the background, Command Shift N, Control Shift N on your PC and just call it shadow. Press enter and then press X to bring that black color to the top, to the foreground, and then Option Delete to fill that in. Boom. Now that we have that shadow, we're going to go ahead and press Command T. And then we're going to just like press the Command T. You can do this many different ways, but hold down the Command or Control and just like see how you can do like a really cool shadow effect. And, you can do this many different ways. You can blend things in, like bring it in right there and then just blend that in just a tiny bit. You can create really cool stuff like this. All right, so this is week number 2. Week number 3 is gonna fly pretty quick because it's very easy to do. So what I'm gonna do is Command Save. I'm gonna save this just for the sake of saving this, but all right, so this is week 2, recap, week 2. And then press OK. Now it's done. All righty. Week 3 is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and tackle that because number 4, it's a little bit tricky and it requires more time. I see what we can do. Let's see. Yeah, let's do it with this one. So I'm going to go ahead, open this image, which is very colorful. I'm going to do the same thing. So Command Option I to bring this down just a tiny bit. So 100 resolution, that's fine. And then let's make this 1500. Boom. All right. So let's zoom in. Command J to, duplicate your stuff. And then what we're going to do is actually go into your blend, not a blending modes, but into your adjustment layers. And then you're going to click adjustment and then go ahead and click on gradient map. Now we have that gradient map. Again, we can do that so many different ways, adding another like black and white, adjustment layer, or we can desaturate it by pressing Command Shift U. But it's kind of boring because you see the colors here, they're not blended together. There's not enough contrast. So I'm going to Command Z. That's why I use this technique using a gradient map, black and white. Look at the contrast and how it creates everything. Last time we did this bird. Now let's do this one. So what I'm going to do is just like, turn off my black and white and just let's create a quick selection of this one, this bird in the middle. So go ahead and select your object selection tool on your toolbar and then just like click on that. Look at that. That's amazing. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and bring this, up front. There are many ways you can do this. You can duplicate this layer by pressing Command J and then putting that bird on top of it. That's kind of like one way to do it. And that's it. We just did that. Or we can also Command click to get that selection again. And we can just like duplicate this image if we want to. For example, let's just drag it and duplicate it and then create a mask around it. And that way we can go back and recolor anything that we're missing. So with that duplicated, with the selection there, just click on the mask and then bring it up. And that's it. And if you want to delete anything, like for example, here, you can, with the brush, press B, and then just like paint over. Right now we have it in black, so we're gonna press X to bring the white and then start painting. If you want to bring some of that color again, or press X to bring, the black color, and then just like, oh no, I don't want that to be there. I just want this, or I just want the head, or, however you want to do. But pretty easy to do, pretty dramatic, and kind of like very, very high contrast. Really cool stuff. And then lastly, I'm going to just click save. And this is going to be week 3. And last is actually our kind of like our comic, which it kind of like takes a little time. Let's see how much time. We have probably like 7 minutes. So I'm going to see, let me see what we can do. All right, I think I have this comic here. Let me see if I can do something super quick with the image that I have. So this is my image. So I'm going to go ahead and Command C. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file. Command N, Control New, and then paste that in there. All right, so I'm going to fly through this just to see if I can get, if I can get like enough time to do this. If not, you can definitely go and recap this week's challenge, which is like creating a comic. You can definitely go back and rewatch it, but I'm gonna see if I can fly through and do something with this image. All right, so first things first, the first thing I need to do is actually, let me just like duplicate this one. How big is it? We can make it a little bit smaller. All right, and then I'm gonna press C. Okay, so first things first. Give me 1 second here. Adjustment, and then the first thing that I need to do actually is convert this into a smart object. So convert this into a smart object, then go into image, then adjustment, and then shadows, and then go ahead and turn those shadows all the way up. Click OK. Then go ahead and add in, we're going to add in some filters now. So we're going to go ahead and filter, camera raw filter. And we're going to go ahead into our details, and then the noise reduction all the way up. Click OK. And then we're going to repeat that again. Let's just remove this mask filter. So right click, delete mask filter. We don't need that. And then again, filter, camera raw. We're going to do the same thing. Reduce the noise. And then also this saturation, we're going to turn it down completely. And click OK. And then we let that go. That's perfect. And then what we're going to do is actually add in a oil paint filter. So go ahead, stylize, oil paint, and then go ahead and bring this. It was probably like your settings were like probably here in the 5s and 6. Just turn it, all the way up to 10, and then click OK. Then now it's going to look weird, but Command J twice to duplicate again. And then this one, we're going to turn this one off. But then this one, we're going to go ahead and add in some high pass. Ooh, we forgot to do the threshold, which is very important. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And in here, go ahead at the threshold, because we forgot to do that. That's a very important state. There you go. So threshold. When you feel like you have enough information, click OK. Now we can duplicate. Now, let's see. I think I won't have enough time, but you see the gist of it. Go ahead and turn this one off. And then go ahead and add some high pass So go ahead into your filter, other, high pass. This is just like a simple little thing that, you know, kind of like creates, bring that threshold to the top. There you go. And then you do a blend mode, like multiply. So this is kind of like the gist of it. So you see how we converted that image into kind of like more like comic book like, but then you have to then add in colors, add in other stuff in there, which you can definitely, by the way, watch it on YouTube. You can watch the recap of this week's challenge, which was the comic, the comic filter, not the filter, but the comic effect that you can definitely apply to make something similar to what we have right here, which is pretty good. Thank you so much again, so much Adobe for having me this whole month. Thanks everyone who joined me through all these weeks. I really appreciate it. Please, please go ahead and join our Discord and submit your stuff in there, because we have amazing mentors that can definitely help you level up your design skills. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Who knows? Bye-bye.